What is up, Izzy Engle? So excited to have a Notre Dame athlete on the podcast today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here and so thankful that you reached out and I get to do this with you today.
So pumped. Well, I appreciate you taking the time because I know being in season, there's a lot going on, and I know you're spending your off day doing this. So really appreciate it. But we're going to talk soccer and all the things. But first, I like to ask my guests what they're all about because I think it's fun to know a little bit about someone that might be different. If it's a life hack, maybe something super serious, something that you're super into right now. So what is Izzy all about?
What is Izzy all about? I mean, obviously, the obvious answer is soccer. I've been around it so much. I think one thing that's very unique about my experience is my mom's fully Brazilian, so I'm a dual citizen, and having that culture and experience and growing up with it, my grandparents, family, extended family, they all still live in Brazil. So having that experience has for sure shaped who I am today. And then I also would say we can obviously, I know we'll talk about faith and stuff, but that's also the biggest part of me and most important part. So, and I feel it's been really cool to see how Notre Dame has helped me grow in that as well. And my team has been awesome. So even this preseason, we've been having our Bible studies and stuff. So that's been very on my mind as well. So I don't know, those were kind of the first couple things to come into mind, but I don't have a more niche answer, I guess. But
No, that is niche. I mean, come on, Brazil. I'd love to ask you about that.
Yeah.
What has that experience brought you, and how have you really taken that into maybe college life? Because not everyone gets to be a dual citizen. So what's that like?
It's super cool. I feel I almost took it for granted, growing up. And it was honestly until I got to college where, you experience more, different cultures. And you have kids coming in from, all across the country, even around the world. My cousin, actually, who's from Brazil, born and raised in Brazil, he also goes to Notre Dame. And he's going to be a junior this year. He was a sophomore last year. So I got to, hang out with him and all of his friends and getting that was probably the most Portuguese and I speak Portuguese too. My mom taught me when I was young, so that was the most Portuguese I've spoken in so long. So it was really cool to even grow in that aspect and have a little break from the soccer and I guess English and American culture that I'm used to and I've grown up with, and be able to kind of dive into that as well. I mean, we also visit Brazil, probably try to visit every other year. So we went this past winter break, which was really special to see family and just experience a completely different culture than my own.
That is so cool. Also, just the ability to speak another language is awesome too. That will take you so far in life. And how crazy is it you get to go to school with your cousin? Come
It
on,
is.
that's so
And
wild.
what's crazy too is that I have another cousin who's coming this fall. So it's going to be we have one that's a junior, I'm going to be a sophomore, and then one that's a freshman. So it's really that's kind of the family. I don't have any siblings here. I mean, yet they're all younger still, but to have that family tie has been really nice too.
It's so fun to go to school with your cousins. College specifically, I went to college with two of my cousins and my sister, but I had a cousin who was a senior and then a cousin who was in my grade. And it was just the best because we could lean on each other for different things. And the older cousin, Ellie Reevy, now Capel, just got married, was just so awesome for me to be there and to look to her. And also just you have a special bond. It's when you have your teammates on campus, you're all right, regardless, I know you have my back. And it's so fun. But what a cool part of your story. I absolutely love that. And I'd love to talk about Notre Dame because you did say that it's really impacted just your faith walk and all the things that you get to do there. So how did you end up in South Bend, Indiana?
So I mean, I don't want to say my parents both went to Notre Dame, so you could say they kind of brainwashed me from birth a little bit. But for sure, with the whole recruiting process, I always, when I was young, always, I want to go to Notre Dame. I mean, my parents went there, I loved their story, and, I kind of wanted to be a part of that as well. And we visited all the time, went to football games. But then, I kind of got to my recruiting process, and I was I'm not going to, limit myself. If Notre Dame happens, that would be awesome, but, I'll keep my options open. And, I had schools asking me, oh, do we even have a shot, or is it going to be Notre Dame? Your parents went there. And I was no, I'm keeping my options open. And then it was kind of, I mean, everyone kind of says it, but I took my visits, I saw other schools. I really liked all the other schools that I took serious consideration for. But it was kind of once I got the opportunity at Notre Dame, I was like, this is like what I've wanted like my entire life. Like I just can't pass it up. So, and literally the second like I said yes in like I don't even know 2022 I think, like there's been zero regrets. And then like since coming here, it's just like exceeded my expectations. So I'm so blessed in that like aspect too, and to have my parents were here, and then now my cousins, and like having so much. Like my aunt and uncle also went here. It's like very family affair at this point. But just to have so much like rich like family history and culture at Notre Dame, and then be able to be a part of that too is really special.
And at a place like Notre Dame, right? Like it is an iconic school and just the ties there are crazy. And I went to Boston College, so like it's so funny.
Yes,
I think
you know.
we think like you're our rival, but like truthfully, like maybe in some sports, but like as a whole, like maybe more football, like not really.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're getting there. But
Yeah.
I actually got to go to Notre Dame my senior year of college, so
Hmm.
like basically two falls ago.
Yeah.
And BC was playing Notre Dame and it was snowing. I mean, like
Yeah.
I had my whole senior class there. It was like out of a movie, okay? I was
Yes.
like, this is amazing. And I got to see the kids getting thrown up in the air in the stands, like
Yeah.
after touchdowns. It was the most fun weekend ever.
It's,
And so I'd love to know, like, have you ever been thrown up in the stands of a
oh yeah.
football game?
Oh yeah, like I mean, when I was young for sure, and then like be doing that as a student, and like having your team score, and then doing the like touchdown push-ups is so cool. I went to the national championship in January.
No way.
It was like crazy. Like my team had like a 20-person Airbnb. Like we were just like all piled into one house. Like the fact that I even got a ticket, I went without a ticket, and then an hour before, like my uncle texted me and was like, I have an extra ticket. Like my mom can't go anymore. I heard you're in town. Do you want to go? I was
No
like,
way. Get so basically the advice is like just get yourself there and
just get
something
yourself
can
there and it never
go.
felt like I mean, and me and some of my teammates like walked around the stadium, like trying to like find like I don't even know what you
The
call it.
person that's like, you need tickets?
Yes, exactly. And we're like, well, that's really sketchy anyways, but like we were desperate. And then I mean, like uncle came through, and that was so special. But then doing like touchdown push-ups like at the like Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, like at the national championship, and I
Oh,
know
so you did it there as well.
like yeah, like
So
they
cool.
like when we scored, like they threw me up in there. It was like my uncle and his brothers. It was super random, but it like that was such a cool experience. And then I even remember doing that when I was a kid too. So yes, I can say I've done the touchdown push-ups multiple times.
Yeah, and I was just expecting like in college, not even in just in your first year, not even like going back. So how cool is that? And so special that you've just been able to carry on that tradition. It's
Yeah.
so funny because my teammates and I played Boston College lacrosse, and we
Yeah.
noticed that like obviously people do that in Notre Dame football games. And one year we were trying to come up with like other celebrations we could do when we score. We're like, you know what? We're just gonna steal Notre Dame's thing, and it
Yeah.
wasn't fun. Like we weren't trying to do it like when we played Notre Dame because we love
Hmm.
all those girls. Like some of my
Yeah.
best friends are on that team and played for
Yeah.
that team. But it was funny because I think they maybe thought we were like trying to,
Yeah.
spoof
Yeah.
off
That's so
them or
cool.
something.
Yeah.
And we are like, no, no, like no hate, just we love the celebration, so we're gonna copy it. But enough football. I do want to talk about soccer because you
Oh
had an
my,
incredible season with Notre Dame
thank
last
you.
season, helping them get to the Elite Eight and leading, I think the country in freshman goals, which is just
Yeah.
absolutely incredible and so fun too. Like, right? Like think about all those celebrations. So I just would love to know like what helped you maybe just specifically you individually have such a strong season coming into Notre Dame.
I think, I mean, my like high school and club experience, like coming into Notre Dame, for sure prepared me very well. Like I was like used to adversity. Like I had had some injuries that you had to battle through. So like having those experiences, I knew like obviously the season's gonna be like not gonna be easy, and like nothing's gonna be given. So like I knew what it was like to like work for something and earn it, and then like reap the rewards of it afterwards. I think too, like, I mean, my team just, we have like such a supportive team culture. And it was like, I mean, that was such an answered prayer too, because like, you don't know what it's going to be when you go into it. Like, the culture might be like very much like if you're a freshman playing over a senior, like, that's just a really hard dynamic to handle, especially with like seniority and just different ages on the team. And like, those, like, any senior that like I was playing over, like, they were my biggest cheerleaders, my biggest fans. And like, having that like kind of support behind me, like, for sure helped a lot. I think like one thing that helped too is like my coach is very much like into his faith as well, and he like leads our team in like going to church on away games. Not like everyone, obviously, like not forcing anyone to do it, but like he would find churches for us to go to on away games. He would pray before meals. He would like have a like Christian mindset in how he like coached coaches our team, which like I know that's like super rare nowadays as well. So to have that as like your leader on the team, like that just helped me kind of like walk humbly. Like when things were going well, I was like, I knew who to like give glory to, and I knew like it was not like on my own. But then like when things didn't go well, like there's obviously, like I said, there was adversity in the season. Like there were times where I wasn't producing what I wanted to, I wasn't playing the way I wanted to, and like I knew that like those valleys, like they're temporary, and like I've got God and I've got my teammates to get me through it. So I think like that perspective, I had so much support from my family. Like I don't know, I can't even say I did it like myself because I didn't. But I think there was also like where I will say like myself, like there's just so much joy. Like I love soccer so much, and like I love the sport, and I've just grown up with it. And to like be playing and like fully living out my dream for like the college I've wanted to go to my whole life, playing the sport that I love with people that I love, like it was just such a perfect match. And there was almost this like naive, like you're a freshman, like you have no expectations, and like you like work for your spot, you kind of get your spot, and then like see what you can do. And like I was just having so much fun out there. So
I
that's
love it. It's so cool to hear that about your coach and even just like your family too, and the support from your teammates, right? Because that's important. Like culture really matters
yeah.
on a team, and you have to be willing to kind of put like your own individual desires. Obviously, like you can have goals that you want to attain personally and like things to strive for 100%, but like being able to really put the team first is what winning teams do and winning cultures have. But I think that's just so cool to hear about your freshman year. I'd love to know maybe going into
Yeah.
last summer, right?
Yeah.
That's a big summer for you. You're preparing for just, the conditioning test coming in as a freshman. And I know there are a lot of young
Yeah.
athletes that listen to this podcast. For me, going into my freshman year of college, I mean, I probably worked out harder than I ever did in my entire life. But
Yeah.
there are also things, off the field that I did to prepare. And so I'm wondering, like, maybe what's one piece of advice or something that you feel like, hey, I did this going into college and it was such a game changer for me?
Yeah. That's a I think obviously like like all the workouts and like running like that is gonna be like a game like like as fit as you can possibly get. Like I didn't want anyone to tell me that like I came in and like didn't work hard enough in the summer, and like it will. That is one thing that like every day it becomes kind of like mundane, and you're like, okay, like let's go do my conditioning again. Like it's kind of tough to like keep up the motivation, but like when you like pass that beep test, when you pass whatever like your fitness test is, or just like when you go to practice and you feel in shape and you feel good, like that feeling is like so worth it for like all the days and all the time that you like put into running and like working out in the summer. I also like this is just random, and like I'm from Minnesota, so like it's not like we actually have beautiful summers, but like it's obviously not considered like the warmest state in the country, obviously. So like I would try to like run as close to like noon or as close to like the peak time of the day that I could, where like it was humid, it was hot, so that I could like experience, because I knew like I mean South Bend's pretty humid too, like in August like it's like 90 degrees right now and humid, so like when you're playing, like you might play a game at 1 p.m. and like how can you prepare yourself for like those adverse conditions like beforehand when it's in a more controlled environment. So that was something like I remember last summer and this summer, obviously I like continued to do that, but that I tried to like do. And I'm like a big morning person anyway, so I would usually like lift in the morning and then do some soccer and then try to do my conditioning like closer to noon and closer to when it was like getting warm outside. So in terms of like I don't know specific advice, I like personally was like just tried to soak up. I like am really close to my family, so like if you have a similar family dynamic, like I just soaked up as much time with like my family and my close friends that I could. And then going into school, I was like I'm gonna like just meet as many people as I can, make as many friends, and like be as authentic as possible. And like sometimes yeah, maybe that doesn't like get you the like like the relationships that you might be looking for, but like at least in my situation, like doing that, like you find who like is close to you, and like I've made some of my best friends, and like a lot of them are on my team. Like I'm so close to my whole team, but then even like people outside of the team, like once preseason was over and everyone else came to school, like that helped for sure with my adjustment to college and just having those people to support me too.
It's a hard thing to be on campus training when there are no students. And that's, your whole summer basically
Yeah.
once you get to Notre Dame. And it would be the reverse for myself playing
Yeah.
lacrosse. We had a little bit of time in like January, February, I think, yeah, January when we come before our season and
Yeah.
students were still on Christmas Christmas break, but it was like, 3 days. It wasn't anything crazy. But the hard part would be after our season and students left for summer vacation, we'd just be on campus. So
Yeah.
it's a grind. And I
Yeah.
love though that you talked about like when to train and when you know it's going to be the hardest, because you're literally saying, I could take the easy way out. I could get up and do my run at 6 a.m., which you probably do sometimes as well,
Mhm.
right? Like, but just having that awareness of like, what's it going to be like when I hit that time? And I think it's such a great, just like overall message for athletes who want to play a college sport, and also just like life advice, because you got to prepare when it's good, because your life isn't always going to be, smooth
Yeah.
and going downhill. And even through your athletic season, it's why you foam roll, because you're preparing for like
Yeah.
potential injuries, right? Just things like that. But I'd love to know just a highlight from your season last year that,
Mhm.
you think back to it, your freshman year, you're going to smile.
Yeah. I think like this is like a very specific, I don't even know if this is what you're asking, but like one of the like games that like comes to my mind was Duke. So we played Duke in just regular season, and it was maybe like mid-October. And there was like a lot of reasons why it was special. We were at Duke, so it was like not a home game. So it was just like a fun trip with our team, obviously. I had like one of my close friends from home. She like goes to school in North Carolina, so she actually came. So I saw her for the first time since July. So like that aside, like having some sort of like family connection or like friend family connection from home, like knowing that like she was watching me, that was really special. And then that game, like Duke was like ranked number one in the country. So like something that Notre Dame, or I don't know if Notre Dame, I think maybe Notre Dame as a whole does it, but like at least my team, like when we play the number one team in the country, unless we are the number one team, but like we wear green jerseys, so it's like the luck of the Irish. You get the like lucky green
Okay.
jerseys.
Yep.
So like we were wearing our green jerseys, like feeling good, but like we were ranked like I don't know what we were ranked, maybe 12, and they were ranked one. So like we're not supposed to like win this game necessarily. Like we're obviously supposed to give up a good fight, and like I knew I was like we can do really well, and we ended up tying 3-3, which was kind of a frustrating result because like we were winning 3-1 at one point, and like I scored 2 goals that game, and like it was like one of my like favorite games. And I just remember like it was hard, like it was so competitive, like that their team was so good, we were like playing really well, and we had a little spur there that like we got scored on, which is why it was 3-3. But like as a game, like overall I would say we played well. And like I just remember walking off the field super frustrated, but like giving my friend a hug and being like, oh my gosh, like look at how far I've come. Like this was like 2.5 months, maybe 3 months into like being in college. And like I was like, I scored goals on like this big stage. We were playing a game. It was like being streamed on ACC Network. Like it was like the game to watch that day because it was like two really good teams. And like I was like making an impact. Again, it's kind of what I've been talking about, just like about like living out my dream and everything. But like I remember like it was just such a like I had so much joy from that game, and like we had so much to learn, like we like grew from that game. But that was like one of my favorite games to play in. And obviously like it didn't even, that's the thing too, is it didn't even end the way we wanted it to. Like we wanted to come out with a win, but we ended up tying them, and like a 3-3 tie. It was like exhilarating. That was like one of my favorite games. So I would say that was a highlight for sure. And then just like all the fun like off the field memories, like I gotta just put like football games like at Notre Dame are so fun. Like I'm in the building right now connected to the football stadium. Like it's just like such a big part of Notre Dame's culture, and like we were actually able to go to a good amount, like given our schedule and stuff. It actually worked out pretty well that we weren't away for all of them. So like those are always like a highlight for my team, and just like getting to do stuff together that doesn't relate to soccer.
Well, I bet when your team's in the national championship, your first year at college, it's pretty fun,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh my gosh, how crazy is that? But I love that your highlight was, even a loss. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's such a cool just memory to have, because you're able to step back and be like, but how awesome is this? Did I just get to be here right
Yeah.
now? And really have a great perspective on that. And that doesn't take away from you wanting to win and be the best and help your team get to the championship, right? It just shows your perspective, and that, okay, we have another game coming up. You know what I mean? Like there's more soccer to come for you. And I think that's such a beautiful way to put it. But I'd love to know just how have you had to maybe lean on your faith throughout that first year in college? Because yes, you're living out your dream, you're at Notre Dame, but like
Yeah.
it's probably also really hard. So how did you lean on your faith throughout that
Yeah.
season?
I mean, I'll just give like a quick, like very, very quick. Like I grew up like with faith and with like Christianity. Like it was like pretty much my parents were both Christian. Like we grew up going to church. So like I've always had this in my life. Like I'm someone very blessed to say I have a pretty boring testimony. Like obviously I have like things that have gone well, things that haven't, and like adversity in my life. But I think for sure like having that foundation and like knowing that like no matter what I go through, no matter if like I feel alone, like I'm never alone, and like God is always with me. That was like for sure like when you're going into something so new and so like unfamiliar, knowing that like everything else might be changing, but like he is unchanging. That was for sure something that like I leaned onto. There was also like a time in my season where like I like was doing great. Like I like was scoring a lot, was like producing, doing great, like kind of had a little bit of a limelight. And then like halfway through, like not that that necessarily went away, but like I was struggling to score. I went through like a little scoring drought. And like this obviously happens for like athletes all the time. And I think one thing like I very much had to just lean on into my faith during that time. This is like just specific to the fall, I guess. But like when things, it was kind of that like hills and valleys. Like when things are going well, like how can you like recognize like who the glory goes to? But then like when things aren't going well, like how can I know like this is a valley, but like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Like, yeah, I might not be scoring right now, but like how can I contribute in other ways that isn't scoring? How can I like set up my teammates to score, still make an impact, still add value? And even like if you're not playing, you're still adding value. Like there's so many like different roles and like embracing the role that I have. And like during that time obviously it was frustrating. But I think like once I got to the point that I wasn't like so frustrated about like why am I not scoring and like trying so hard to score, and I recognized like God's gonna get me through it. He's gotten me through everything else already, like every other adversity that I've gone through. And like that was like in the long like run, that was a pretty like small scale, but like still like having those days and like it's just like day in and day out, like no, like trusting that like God has a plan and his plan will come to fruition, and like I just got to trust in it and know that like he's working all these things for my good, and like whether I'm scoring, whether I'm not scoring, whether I'm playing, whether I'm not playing, like there is a plan in it, and like I will grow in it, I guess. So that was probably one way or multiple ways, I guess, that I
Well,
leaned in.
thank you for sharing that because I think, when people look at Instagram, they're like, oh my gosh, like, top scorer, freshman in the country, like teams winning, all these things. But like, there are hard parts just physically for athletes, right? Like, oh, shoot, it's been a few games I haven't scored, right? Like, even if it's not like, oh, I'm getting benched and it's something like that, you're still, making an impact on the field. Like, it's still hard and it's a
Yeah.
real thing. But I love just how you describe that because that's the hardest thing I think for athletes is finding your value in your performance. And like, that's where you take your worth, right? Like, for you to be able to experience that so early on, literally freshman fall of your college career. Now it's always going to be something you have to work through, right? But like, I just know for me and myself, I had to listen to certain like worship music
Yeah.
before I started my day in certain seasons of my athletic career because I was like, I can't let when I'm playing my best or when I'm playing my worst determine like how I view myself and who God created me to be and like my value as a person, right? And I think it also helps you have like an eye for your teammates because your teammates' roles are going to change just as much as your role
Yeah.
changes, right? So like you can be a more empathetic teammate and understand, okay, I know what season this girl's probably going through. I know what might be going through her head right now. I think there's a lot of power in that, but I love that you shared that because it's a real thing, right? As athletes, it's a real
Yeah.
thing. I also just it made me think about times when I'd be on Boston College campus and I would be doing a certain run, like running a campus loop and thinking, oh, the same God that, allowed me to be playing my best and being an impact player is the same God that has me in this different situation. And I'm not playing or I'm not playing as well or I'm injured, whatever that is. And I think like even seeing your old family friend, right?
Mhm.
Like little reminders like that are so awesome to like
Yeah.
if you have to manufacture it and go somewhere
Yeah.
of just like God's faithfulness to your life because it is so important. But you did mention earlier in this episode about maybe a Bible study that you were doing with your teammates. So I'd love to know just like what does your faith community look like at Notre Dame?
Like I like it was for sure like my faith community and like being surrounded by people of faith like was for sure my biggest like prayer going in, obviously like outside of soccer and stuff, like going into college. Like I was like, God, like this is a completely new situation, like I don't know what you have in store for me, like I'll be a light in like a community that maybe doesn't have it, but I knew like Notre Dame's Catholic, like it's probably gonna have it. Like it has like completely exceeded my expectations. Like I'm surrounded by so many people of faith, which is like so cool to like be a part of. Like, I mean, I know you said like Sway, like he leads like NDCA here, like Notre Dame Christian Athletes. So like having that Bible study like as a freshman, like I couldn't go in the fall because of we had like study hall at the same time, but like in the spring being able to go to that, and then this fall like I'll be like helping on the like as a leader through NDCA. So like getting that experience is going to be really special. And then my team does like our own team Bible study. We did it last fall, and in the spring it was kind of harder with schedules and stuff, but like just being able to like get in the word, talk to the other girls, like talk on like a deep level that's like beneath the surface and not just like about soccer and not just, I mean, obviously there are parts that are about soccer and like what you're struggling through, but like getting to know and see your teammates as someone that's not just like a soccer player, but that's like a loved child of God, and that you will put blood, sweat, and tears to like help succeed as well, and to like so you guys can all succeed. And I think there's like this good like huge sense of like humility on my team as well, and it's like something that my coach preaches, and obviously like as Christians like we strive to like walk with humility. And like that's something that we talk about in our Bible study too. Like even if things are going well, like how can you still walk humbly? Again, know who to give the glory to, but like lift up your teammates and like be an encouraging teammate, even if things are going well as well, and like not having kind of that big head. So like our Bible study has been really special. We're actually having our first one of the year today, so we kind of like let preseason settle down, and then like on this off day we were like, and we like have like I don't even, I think there's maybe 30 girls on my team. There's like at least 20 people in the group chat who like want to just like get plugged in, want to like have that experience. And it's also like no pressure. Like my team has such a great team culture. And like another thing that's actually really special that we're doing, and it's being led by like one of the seniors on my team that I'm really close to. She like decided like it would be a good idea for us to do like testimonies, and like for those that like aren't Christian, like it's like just a life story, like just there, like I've learned things. I mean, maybe only like 6 to 8 people have gone, I'm not really sure, but like to get to know people on like a deeper level, even the ones that like aren't of faith, and like to hear what they've walked through and how they got through it, how like the Christians have gone through it, how they got to God, like that has just created like even already like such a deep like bond between us, even in the like first 2 weeks of preseason. That's been really special, and I can't wait to like see what God continues to do with that. And then also just like even for the ones that like don't go to Bible study and don't do that, which again totally fine, but like we're planting so many seeds I know in their lives already, and like my coach being like we're praying before meals and we're doing that stuff and like having opportunities to go to church. So that's been really special. And then lastly, kind of with all of this, like I remember like I was like trying to like ask people like I like at in Minnesota before coming, like I don't like who they were from, like they had been in South Bend, and like I was like, what's a good church? Like I was really hoping to find a good church. And then literally like we got here on a Friday, and like that next Sunday, this was last fall, that next Sunday, like I had like a bunch of the seniors were like, hey, like we're taking people to church, like who wants to come? And we had like 12 girls going, and like it was awesome, and I absolutely loved it. It was very similar honestly to my church from home that I love. So like to have that experience like pretty much right away and be like, yep, it was like a yep, I'm home kind of moment, and like that was really special. And like now even this year, like we like took up like 2 rows for like women's soccer at church, like at 8:30 last Sunday, and like and that number just continues to grow too. So it's been really special to like see what God's doing in this place, like working in my team, working in me, and like some of the other girls that are kind of like become, and like it's also cool to see like me kind of becoming more of a leader in my faith, and like having the courage to like step out and allow myself to grow and like see like who God has created me to be, and like the role that he's put me in here, like not just on the field but like off the field, and just making people like be seen, heard, and like loved, and like know that like I'm trying to like show them the love of Jesus as well and shine that light.
That's so awesome. 2 rows. Come
Yeah,
on, let's go. That is
it was so
awesome.
special. I
It
was
is
just teasing the
special.
whole time. Like obviously
No,
always.
yeah. It's awesome, and everyone's in a different spot in their life, right? Is sitting there, and also people who aren't there. And I think what's so cool is you're just like making it you're unashamed as a team, right? Like, and I think that's so important because I've been on teams throughout my entire life or in seasons of my own athletic careers when maybe I wasn't as bold in my faith as I probably wanted to be
Yeah.
or should have been. And I think it's so cool that you have like a real army around you. And how special is that to have like that I'm home moment. And
Yeah.
yet, like you're saying, yeah, I'm home. Like seniors are inviting me, like that's great. But you're also stepping into like leadership positions on your own, right? And I think that's so cool. And it's like that verse. It's like, don't let those look down on you because you're young, right?
Yeah.
Like, if the Lord has allowed you and opens those doors, like you walk through them,
Yeah.
and you get to be a light on that campus
Yeah.
regardless of your status on the team or what grade you're in. And I think it's a great encouragement too for people who might want to be bolder about their faith within their team because it is hard. But like you
Yeah.
find one girl, or one guy, it might not be the whole team, but like there's strength in numbers when you
For
can when
sure.
you can do that. And even like getting outside of your own team and being able to do life with other athletes at Notre Dame is probably really awesome as well. What is that group, that Notre Dame Christian athletes, what does that group look like?
There's like like a good amount of people that go too. Like I would say usually like it's around like 50 to 60 like a weekend. It's like Wednesday nights and like people have a lot going on. Like all of us are so busy and like you understand the like college student athlete experience is like very busy, but like it's just 1 hour on Wednesday nights and usually how it like works is there's like we'll do like a game, some sort of just like kind of team bonding like activity that's fun and like lightens the mood and stuff, and then either like Sway or someone else will talk, share a testimony, or like there will be a and then with that then we'll like or someone will usually give a talk and then we'll split into small groups and just like talk about the talk, dissect it, and it's like all like any athlete, all athletes, like football, like we had the starting quarterback Riley Leonard last year was like would do it too, and like just kind of it like brings everyone, like no matter like what walk you're in your faith, no matter what sport you play, like girls, boys, like everyone was just kind of coming together, and it was like a really cool. It's kind of like the FCA equivalent at Notre Dame, which is really cool.
So awesome. I know for me, I did Athletes in Action at Boston College, which is super similar. And it was the best. And like, those are people who I'm still connected to today. And it's so important to be able to just like have each other's backs, even if you don't see each other very often, right? Like you said, some people can't go. You're in season, you're out of season. Like it's just something about doing life with other people, and also just within your team, like being able to have a read on like where everyone is, because then you can take care of each other better,
Yeah.
and you can pour into each other and encourage each other. It's just so much better, and it makes your college experience
Yeah.
far greater than going to practice, going to lift, going to film, going home, shutting your door, sitting on your in your bed and watching Netflix the rest of the night,
Yeah.
right? Like
True.
film whatever you want to do, like that's great when you get back to your room, but like really, you're gonna look back at your college experience and be like, was I stressed about my homework and just wanted to like lay on the couch and do nothing and rot away, or did I want to like go and like spend time pouring into other athletes and going to the dining hall and just sitting talking to people for
Yeah.
hours? Like that's what you're gonna
Yes,
remember.
for sure. Those dining hall rots, especially.
If you're gonna rot, you better rot in the dining hall.
That's like literally what we call it. And we have like North Dining Hall, South Dining Hall, and like there's a big rivalry between them. Usually it's like the South Dining Hall rots. And I feel like especially during finals week, some reason we'd like stay there for 2 hours because like no one wanted to leave and go study. So it was like just stay in the dining hall because it's like the only place you like have an excuse not to be studying.
Hey, my freshman year at Boston College was COVID, okay? It was
Gosh, yeah.
2020. And the only place on campus where you were allowed to sit with like more than 3 people, 5 people, you could sit with 5 people, was the dining hall
Yeah.
and take your mask off. So we were just cooking in the dining
Oh,
hall, like no
exactly.
mask, like, oh, that's what that person looks like. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Like it
That's
was so great.
yes, that's crazy.
So funny. Well, I'd love to ask you just about your USA soccer experience because
Hmm.
that is so unique and so cool and
Thank you.
sick. I loved watching USA soccer growing up. So you were with them this summer. What was that
Yes.
like?
So that was like such a cool experience. That took so the big tournament that happened this summer, that was called it was like in Costa Rica. It was called CONCACAF, the U20 like World Cup qualifying tournament. So pretty much there's the U20 World Cup which will happen in Poland next September. And this tournament in Costa Rica in June, that was to like qualify for that. And like you need to be there's only 8 teams and the top four qualify. And like looking at like the other countries, like usually the U.S. like should always qualify, but like still you got to go down there, you got to do your job, and we qualified for the World Cup, which was really cool. But also like I'll just also mention like we had camps like leading up to the that tournament, so that was like maybe mid-May to like early June was the Costa Rica tournament, but we had like 3 or 4 camps leading up to it in February and April and May, or like pre-camp early May. So like that there was a lot of like work and just dedication and time that we had to put into it. And it's also like I mean it's a very nerve-wracking experience because like they start kind of with like, we went to Spain in February, and like that was a roster. I think maybe 5 people from that roster ended up being in the group that went to Costa Rica. So like
No
it is just
way.
like it's a very like there's so much talent in this country, and like they gotta like look at as much of it as they can, and I'm sure they still miss a lot of great players, but like the pool is so big that like it's such an honor to get called into like that kind of tournament, and to like keep making those rosters was for sure very special. But like I would also just like to point out like the people that I've met throughout those camps, like you would think, and I'm sure like some people, yeah, it's like there's ego, but like for some reason, like it was a very like, it's a very like cool culture to be a part of, because like everyone kind of respects each other, knows that like you're talented, I'm talented, like let's see what we can do together. Let's see, like I know like if I make you better, you're gonna make me better, and like I'm gonna be able to grow through these experiences. And like especially the ones leading into the tournament itself were like camps. So they were like, we played some games when we went to Spain in February, but the other ones were like training camps. Like you would just play inter squads, and like it's like how can you challenge each other, how can you push yourself, push other people, and then see kind of who comes out of it. So it becomes a very cutthroat experience, but like I've made some of my like closest friends through those camps as well, so that's like a really cool experience. And when we were in Costa Rica itself, ended up being like that was close to like 3 weeks, so it was like a long time, and like you're not
That's a
really
long time to
like
be anywhere.
with free camp. And so it was part in the first like first like week was in Florida, and then the last 2 were in Costa Rica. And it is like you get close, like you're with 21 people, and it's like you get close to them. And I was really lucky too that we had 4 girls from Notre Dame there, so I had 3 of my teammates that like I'm with all the time, like some of my best friends from here, to get to do that experience with
Wow.
too. That was really special. We actually played against one of our other teammates at Notre Dame against Canada. So like seeing her, and we lost unfortunately, but she played great. So I'll give her all the credit that she's
So
due. But
Notre Dame is gonna
it was
run the country for us. Let's go.
let's see. But so that was like really special, and it's just like the people you meet along the way, and like the memories that you make outside of soccer, is what like I remember. And then obviously like the games, like we played Guyana, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, and Canada. And so like having those 4 games, and like being able to like make an impact and play with my teammates, and like make these, like we had to like kind of have these vulnerability talks, and like try to get to know each other on a deep level really quickly, because like yeah, 3 weeks, it was a long time, trust me, but like it like is a short amount of time to be like with people and try to like get to know people enough that you're like playing for them and playing for each other. So I think we did a good job. Like it was a really special group that was all together, and I know we were there together like for a reason. And we even did like I don't think we didn't ever get around necessarily to doing like Bible studies, but we had like some of the girls are playing in the like professional league currently, and they had like their team chaplains from their professional teams would send them something for us, like whoever wanted to watch, and we would have like 12 girls like watching it before the game, and it would be like a 5 minute like mini sermon, and just like who are you playing for, like who are you doing this for, like, it's all to glorify God. And like to have that experience in that environment is like that was like super cool to be a part of. And to like kind of like I was on the older side, it was like 2006 and 2007 birth year, and I'm like July 2006, so to be like on the older side, and again kind of in a leadership role, like I got the like blessed opportunity to captain the team against Canada, so like that was super special. And to kind of like use that leadership role to like still like walk humbly and try to like just like plant seeds, be a light, and play with people I love and like have gotten to know is really cool.
I'm pumped that you're representing the US, captaining it. Let's go. I mean, so
Yeah.
awesome just to hear that, and just like how fun it was too, because those things are like you said, they're so nerve-wracking,
Yeah.
right? And there's a lot of pressure, and just the turnover, like you said, is wild and crazy, and you don't know what the group's going to look like.
Yeah.
But it's just so cool to hear that experience from you, and I'm pumped that it was fun, and just to see like too how the NWSL and those pro chaplains, like
Hmm.
their work and their encouragement to those players is really pouring down into what you're doing, which is so crazy, because someday you're going to be in that league and girls might be watching your team chaplains
Yeah,
videos. It's just so
which is so
so
cool.
wild and crazy to think about. No, I love it. And what a fun summer. You really had no break. You're just
It
always
was.
in shape. That's a nice thing. But would you be able to play for Brazil if you wanted to?
I think so. I don't. I'm not okay. I'm not 100% sure, because I know like once you play in a FIFA tournament, like then you can't.
You
because
can't
then
switch
you like dedicate
countries.
to one. You
Well,
can't
we
switch.
don't want you to switch countries anyway, but here in the
But
US,
I
but just
think
wondering.
I don't know if the youth, because like that tournament was technically that was like a FIFA tournament. So like, but I don't know if the youth league, because it was U20, like maybe then because it was part of youth I could. But as long as things keep going, like hopefully, like if it's in God's plan and they keep going well with the U.S., I'll be sticking here. But
Good.
that would still
That
be
was
very,
just a trick
that would
question. We
still,
were just seeing what you were gonna say.
yeah,
No,
that
I
would
love
still
it.
be really cool. Like that would be a cool, and I speak Portuguese, so like I could try to make it work. But
Hey.
as long as they keep working well
You
here,
could
like
coach one day
that might be
for
cool.
Brazil, maybe.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
see.
see.
We'll take you as a player
Yeah.
for now. But you have so much soccer ahead of you, and
Thank
even
you.
just, but you've also played a lot of soccer
Hmm.
already in your life, and
Yeah.
so I'd love to know, like, just looking at your maybe even just your college career so far, and headed into this next big season that you
Hmm.
have with Notre Dame. Is there one specific thing or something that you feel like the Lord is really teaching you, or putting on your heart, or really having you focus on right now?
That's really good. I would say, like, I've been like one of the things I've been praying about, kind of going into college and through my college was like, how can I continue to grow? Because you kind of like sometimes, especially like growing up with faith and stuff, it can feel like you like kind of like are growing and then you kind of like hit a little plateau, and it's like, no, you're not going down. Like you're still like doing great, but like it's just like, oh, I kind of like when's like the next not new thing, but like I want to like grow. And I feel, and that was like kind of one of my prayers that I was like leaning into, and like how can I, yeah, lean into these opportunities to grow, and like something that might be uncomfortable and feel uncomfortable at the start. And I think like in this season, like I've actually even being here for the last 2 weeks, and like I would say like summer and having those like USA experiences, I like was put in like a bit like some uncomfortable situations that have allowed me to grow. And I think like I've been able to see myself not doing like this, but like start to like grow a little bit more in my faith, and like just like continuing to like lean into the Lord and like just trust in his plan, and like things might not be always going the way I want them to, but like knowing that like his plan is for my good. Like I know I've said that already, but like that's probably, and just like embracing the leadership roles, which are like, I mean, you said like sometimes, yeah, like I'm going to be a sophomore and like on a team where there's a lot of senior. I mean, my class is actually huge, so we have a lot of sophomores, but and there's not that many seniors, and like I love all the seniors, but like in like a sport where like, or not a sport, but like a time of life where there is seniority, and like it's like, yeah, I'm still young, like I'm still like on the young, very much on the younger side on the team. Like how can I embrace a leadership role and just like walk with humility with that role and just try to like shine my light. So I think like the more I do that, I'll like continue to be able to grow and just see the like work that God's doing in my life and in this place as well.
Well, thank you for sharing that. It's awesome. And I'm so excited to follow along with your season,
Thanks.
and how the Lord uses you at Notre Dame just for the years to come. And, you know, if it doesn't challenge, like if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And that's exactly what you said. Like the Lord's putting you in uncomfortable situations, and it's like, am I going to do it with him, or am I going to try to do it my own way? You
Yeah.
know, and like that's where you're really going to grow. And so thank you so much for sharing that. But I have one last question for you, because I know people would love to know, does Izzy wear headphones or no headphones before a game?
Oh, that's so I like have like I do both, I'd say. I'm very much someone who like I love like I'm an extrovert. I love to talk to people. I love to be loose. And I usually will like kind of get ready with my music. I'm usually playing my worship music, like just trying to like get in the zone. And then like I hit a point, I say my prayer, and then I'm like, okay, time to go dance in the locker room. And so it's kind of like I will like kind of getting to the like locker room. Like at the start, I'm like headphones on, kind of dialed, and then like I'm telling you, I say my prayer, and I'm like, okay, great, now I'll go dance. So
I'm good now.
it
Let's
is
go.
both. It is both, because like I just want to like, especially call like these. I obviously I get nervous for games, so like they're big deals, and like you want to perform well. So I think like usually kind of feeding into that like locker room energy and just like dancing and like having fun with that teammates. That's what like helps me get loose right before the game. But then like I still have my focus before. So that's a very much like 50-50 question, but
So
great
good.
answer.
And hey, you know what? You got to stick to it. And I
Exactly.
love it. And sometimes you just got to like dance or fake smile and be like, I'm not nervous. I'm good. You
And then
know?
the more you tell yourself you're not, and like, I mean,
Yes.
I'm always so excited to play, but like sometimes it's like I'm excited, but like I'm also really nervous. So like the more I'm like, I'm just so excited to play, like you just keep telling yourself that, like usually that helps a lot with the nerves too.
100%. That's so awesome. Well, Izzy, thank you so much for taking time to talk
Of
today and come
course.
on the What's Up podcast. I'm so pumped to cheer you on, and hopefully we'll be seeing those green jerseys luck of the Irish. I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
pumped and
Yeah.
for you to
I'm
score a
really
lot of
super.
goals
Thanks.
and for health and success this
I
season. And
appreciate it.
I know BC is the Notre Dame rival kind of, but we're cheering you on
We tied.
in
They
all
played
things.
tight last year. We tied them last year. They were really good. So
Amazing.
I
Well,
don't think we
thank you
play
so
them.
much for taking the time.
Of course. Thank you so much.